Subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell icon for the latest film interviews, features, and recommendations on the movies that matter.
Alaya, Masaba, it's good to see you. Do you ladies know each other? I know, Alaya, your mum Pooja acted in Masaba's show, but
Yes.
are you guys friends? Do you all know each other?
Masaba sent me a lovely dress some time ago and some lovely fragrances now, and I thank her
Just
for my
now.
Instagram choice. But that's the extent to which we know each other as of now.
Okay.
I know Alaya's mum. I've spent much more time with her than I have with Alaya. And I think we have some common, family, friends. So we were in Goa during the lockdown and I met her mum a few times. So yeah, yet to make friends with Alaya.
Okay.
Soon.
You know, we've come to the end of what has been a hard, challenging year for most people. But for the two of you, it was also a special year, right? Because both of you debuted on screen. Alaya, you in your film, Jawaani Jaaneman. Masaba, you in your own show, in your Netflix show, Masaba Masaba. You know, for first timers, both of you were very confident on screen and you got good reviews. But I want to ask you, do both of you remember that one moment that you felt, okay, I've passed? I'm through, you know? Was it something that someone said? Was it a review? Was it watching yourself on screen for the first time? What was that moment where you knew, okay, looks like we're through?
Alaya, go ahead.
I think for me it was the reviews for sure, because you never really know how you're doing until people tell you how you're doing. Even on set, like I would constantly look for approval. I was like, oh my God, just please tell me I won't wake up on a Friday and like have some terrible reviews coming my way. I was like, just prep me for whatever's gonna come. If you think I'm terrible, tell me I'm terrible. I'll try and improve for the leftover days of shoot. And they were always like, chill, you'll be fine. And when someone tells me to chill, I do the complete opposite of chill. So I panicked even more. I was like, people aren't telling me the truth. There's nothing true about this. I'm going to wake up on a Friday and I'm going to like be miserable. And then the Friday came and touch wood. I mean, everything went really well and it was received really nicely. So when I finally saw those reviews, was when I was like, okay. And also on the premiere, when the screenings were happening, I remember coming out during the interval to go to the bathroom and everyone was like, hey, amazing. And I was like, okay, so many people are saying it and something has to be true. Like everyone can't be lying to me, because usually when people have nothing nice to say, they're like, looking very pretty, yeah. So because no one said looking
Nice
very
look,
pretty,
yeah.
So when I didn't get that, I was like, okay, I must have done a decent job.
So Masaba, you didn't have the premiere. You didn't have the big screen, so to speak. What was it for you then?
It was two things. One was, of course, my mom, because I remember we were sitting and watching the first edit, and I'm talking about maybe like 6-7 months back. And we were sitting in the room, and I remember her really enjoying it. And it was this cold, freezing, dark room, and she really enjoyed it. And you know how mom is. She's just blatant. She's honest. She's just not sugarcoating her words. And she said, this is such a nice show. And that for me was the first, okay, I now understand maybe we've done something that might work.
Right.
And then right after, I remember speaking to Ashwini, our producer, and she said that the Netflix team, and there was this one girl, there was this girl who was doing BTS for us. And she was just sitting around. She didn't know anything about what we were trying to do. And she was sitting when we were talking and everything. And she was just filming us. And I would notice her and she would keep laughing, or she would tear up in moments when you would tear up. So for me, that was an outsider, because you see, at the end of the day, it's your mom is still an insider and your producer is still an insider. So when I saw her reaction, and I made sure when she was on set, I would keep asking her, I said, what do you think of this and that? So when she had these very genuine reactions, I said, okay, we may have a bit of a winner here.
Right.
And yeah, and then of course, I just woke up at the morning of the release at 8 a.m. I was just looking at reviews like a crazy person. And I remember the first few were good. So I said, okay, pass to ho gaye, average to nikal jayega, baki we'll see.
Do you feel like the experience of having your acting on screen now, being judged for your acting, do you feel that has changed you in any way this year? Because Masaba, you were already a very successful designer. Alaya, you've been on social media even before your first film came out. You've had interactions with people. people knew both of you even before your film and your show came out. But do you feel like you've changed in any way after you've become actors?
I think I don't think I've changed, but I just feel like the life I lead as an entrepreneur and a business owner, it only helped me as an actor, so to speak, because I didn't. One, I'm very, very self-critical. I don't take don't take anything for granted, and I'm very well aware of what people are. I have my, like, when I'm doing clothes, for example, I always have my pulse, my finger on the pulse of what people want, for example. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why the label is successful. So I think when I was also, today when I'm an actor as well, I just feel like that helped me overcome, that one bad review or those 5 bad reviews, or there were these strange reactions from some friends. It just helped me overcome, because I think I've lived 10 years or 11 years of my life just trying to do the right show, or just get a good reaction from people. So I think that really helped me. It has helped me in my work as well, but I think it was the former, where I feel like because of being a business owner, you're just used to taking everything with a pinch of salt. So I think that helped. Yeah.
Alaya?
For me, I definitely, without a doubt, got a lot more confident in my own skin after my film came out. And I think that was a lot thanks to the fact that it was received well, and touch wood, my performance was received well as well. Because being on social media before that, like I mentioned earlier, when people come up to you, all they know about you are the photos that they see. So what will they come up to you and say? Wow, you're very pretty. Can I have a photo? And like, you don't want people to say, wow, I really look up to you because you're so pretty. Like, so for me, that used to always make me
low
feel
benchmark.
yeah, it used to be really awkward, because then there's this pressure to look good wherever you go. And like, so I would always like try and look extra good, which eventually results in me looking extra bad, because it looks like I put in too much effort. And there were so many things, and then there came a point where my movie came out, and I was like, see, now people have seen what I look like, firstly, with the makeup and the hair and the everything. I was like, plus they've seen what I do for a living. So after that, when I went out, I had my hair up in a bun, loose clothes, just my sneakers. And like, I realized that I look so much more confident and so much better when I'm just like not trying, because
Relax.
I felt so confident in one aspect of what I was doing and so secure that I think that reflected everywhere else as well. So I think that definitely helped me a lot.
But what's it like being an actor who's just starting out, to both of you, who's just starting out in the age of social media? How do you respond to trolls? How do you take nasty comments? And especially when they're not about the work, when they're about the appearance, when they're about the dressing, what is that like? Just about, taking your first steps in the business, and in an age of extreme scrutiny.
Rajiv, I think it's the opposite. I feel like social media, making your debut in this time, it can sometimes give you the wrong idea of yourself.
Yeah.
And I mean this in both ways, because what happens is, you think that, oh my God, I have 24,000 likes, or my friends have shared this and they've tagged me on it, and now this is the biggest thing that has ever happened to me. But that's not the case. Your life is not on social media. India is not on social media. And more importantly, your reviews are the very small percentage that's on social media. I mean, for me, a bigger review or a bigger stamp of approval is when I'm at the airport and someone can tell who I am with my mask on because they've seen the show,
Right.
And I think that's what social media does. It makes you think that from Andheri to Bandra, you have arrived. But the problem is, life is not happening from Andheri to Bandra. Life is happening on the streets. I keep saying this with fashion and with films. So I think that's something that I started to learn, that don't look at your social media and think that you've arrived just because 5 people have reposted your post. And more than that, I think it's a great time, to be making your debut, and you have so much that you can share. I look at my social media as a hoarding, I think today an actor or anybody who wants to set out, they can control the narrative. I'm sure Alaya will agree, where, she can say, okay, I will post this and not post that.
Right.
Or I will say this, I will be this opinionated and I will not be this opinionated. I choose. You choose your image, and then it's up to the people. I think that's how I see it.
But you said you don't take the praise too seriously. You know how much to take seriously. The Bandra and Juhu belt is just so much. But my question is, what about the trolling? I mean, are you able to also be thick-skinned about the negative commentary? To both of you.
Yeah,
Again,
because of my business, I'm telling you. My business has saved me in this because, I'll never forget that there were these shows I did in the past, and at that time, a newspaper review was the thing for a designer.
Yeah.
For a young designer, what a Hindustan Times wrote or whatever was the end all. And I just, I'm so thick-skinned, it's unbelievable. I just feel like all those years of reading the newspaper and feeling like shit, today I'm like, bring it on, say what you have to, and I will rise from this. And I actually use it. I use all the negative stuff that has happened to me to my advantage. I think it's all meant for you to pick it up and make how big you want.
Alaya, for you?
For me, I've been on social media for a very long time now.
Yeah.
Way before I was an actor, way before all of that. And in fact, that time, like, I, as by myself, was quite a rebellious, like, out there, wild child. So that time, there was like hate, because like if you're different and bold and unapologetically yourself, you get hate. So once I got used to that, and then, of course, you also grow as an individual and you grow up and you're like, listen, calm down. And so that's what I did to myself. I calmed myself down. I was like, chill out, focus on what you need to focus on. And then when I came on social media, people were really nice, at least in comparison to like what I used to get. So I was like, hey, this is great. Like, I really enjoy this. The only ones that irritate me now are like, oh, you should see her old Instagram. She's like, this is such a fake version of her. No, people grow. You can be that and be this. People grow. It's not like who you are when you are 16 defines who you will be for the rest of your life. I mean, that's incredibly stupid. Those ones irritate me because I'm like, listen, I'm a lot of things. Fake is not one of them. But it's all social media has been a great blessing for me during this time. I won't lie, because my film released and the world went into a lockdown. And normally in that time, a lot of newcomers get to go to events, go to award shows, get themselves seen, go to parties. When you have that visibility, you make use of it.
Yeah.
For me, it got all taken away immediately. And I was like, what do I do? And I was like, the one way I can make myself remain relevant or visible is through social media. Also, I've been financially independent for the longest time. So for me, I was like, what am I going to do now? Like, I not only do I have my own expenses, I have salaries to pay, So I was like, how am I going to pay my salaries? Do I have to go back to my parents and say, hey, listen, sorry, I know I was independent for 2 years, but lockdown, now give me money. Like, I was like, no. So social media really helped with that. I was able to, have a good source of income while putting myself
Thank
out
God
there.
for paid partnerships.
I was going to say, here's where the influencer hat comes in, right?
No, but totally, like, it's been so helpful. And like, so for that, I'm really grateful to social media, and I've started enjoying it a lot. I think if you're, yourself on it, then it's like, it is what it is, take it or leave it.
Both of you were raised by very strong single mothers. How did that shape you? How has that shaped the women that you've become? What quality more than others are you thankful that your mothers passed on, if you like?
I think for me, it was definitely that just be self-made, as self-made as possible, and to the extent where, and I think more than that, more than self-made, I would say just be financially independent. The minute you start to look at a relationship or a marriage or any sort of companionship as a meal ticket, or as a source of, a validation of, okay, now I'm married to this family or this man, he comes with this and this is what he brings. She says you're doomed, So I think you can always have those things. You can always, aim for this, moon, as they say. But I think you have to be financially independent. And, it's a double-edged sword being raised by someone like that, because it just becomes harder for you to adapt.
Right.
Like today, I'm so set in my ways. I have my schedule and I have my day and I have my life. And I would expect somebody to fit that. I'm not making any amends here. So I think that's something that's a bit of a negative, but I think it only helps you. It only helps you because in the larger scheme of things, you have your own money to spend and you have your own life to live. And she also used to tell me, always have your own set of friends and always have people who are yours, you know, instead of just making your whole life about your husband or partners. So that I think was the one thing that I picked up.
You know, as Masaba said, you know, when you're raised by single parents, they are by inherently very independent, and so they like to pass that on to, you know, their children. And in fact, both my parents, for that matter, have constantly said to me, you know, you have to be financially independent, and you have to, and you know, in a country where parents usually put pressure on their kids for marriage. My parents are the complete opposite. They're like, Als, if you get married before 30, no, you're doing the stupidest thing you've ever done in your life. You focus on your career, focus on your work, focus on building yourself. And so that's always inherently been, that's been said to me all the time. And more than that, I feel like what I've got from my mother, or what I at least try to imbibe, is that she treats everyone with kindness. Like, I don't think I've ever heard her talk badly to anyone ever. You know, every single person is treated with a lot of kindness and respect and love and familiarity, you know. So I try and do that as much as I can, because I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, people have to remember you with a smile, or like, what are you leaving behind? So that's what I try to imbibe from her.
Alaya, you just went off and shot a film with Anurag Kashyap right after Jawaani Jaaneman came out. What was that like, first of all? And was one reason to do that also to earn your stripes, you know, to say to everyone that screams nepotism, that I can't change who I'm born to. I can't change the fact that I'm, you know, I have this privilege, but here's what I'm doing to show you that I'm serious about this, that I want to do work that's going to allow me to flex my chops, so to speak. I mean, was that a part of why, apart from, I'm guessing, a great opportunity? I'm sure it was a great script.
Actually, funnily enough, a lot of people don't know this, but I actually signed Anurag sir's film before I signed Jawaani. Okay. But it was a long ways away before he was going to shoot it. So he was like, you know, do whatever you want. If something comes before that, like, go for it. Actually, when I met, for my first film, I never had a clear idea of what I want to do. You know, whether I want something hardcore commercial or something, you know, a little more dark and alternative. I had nothing specific. So I was meeting a lot of directors and producers or whoever would want to meet me. And I used to go with this little reel. So I used to compile all the videos from my acting class, and I used to make it into a reel. I used to add a little background music and all to, you know, add effect and everything. And I used to go to all these people. So I went to Anurag sir and I was like, hi sir, I'd really like you to see my reel and whatever. And he just looked at me and he smiled and he was like, listen, I don't make your type of movies, you know. I make Teda films, and nothing that you'll, because he thought I was going to be like this, like, I don't know how to explain it. But so he was like, I was like, sir, I don't want a movie. I just want your opinion. Like, give me feedback on, you know, my scenes, tell me what I should add, what I can improve. And that was it. And he saw it and he watched it. It was 7 minutes long. He watched it focused. And then he sat back. Then he sat forward. Then he sat back. Then he looked at me and he was like, I have a film that's perfect for you. You want me to narrate it? Can I narrate it to you now? And I was like, oh, you've gone from saying I don't have films to you to saying I have a film that's perfect for you. And he was just so convinced about me that I was like, you know what? Okay, I guess I can do this. And like there and then he narrated the whole thing to me. He started calling up people saying, I found the girl. And I was like, whoa, what's happening? Because this was the first time this had ever happened to me. Jawaani wasn't even, you know, and Jawaani was nowhere to be seen at that time. And it was just incredible. And I think I've learned so much, because going from a set where everything is, you know, you shoot from a certain time to a certain time and do something a certain way and whatever, to being on Anurag sir's set where like he puts us into a car and we're moving and he says, here, let's get off here, we'll shoot this. Okay, now sit back in the car. Now here, oh, this location is perfect. Let's shoot this here. And you know, so it's all so quick. You're on your way to set and then you're getting a new script. It's like, it was incredible. I feel prepped for just about anything now.
Masaba, you have a very successful fashion business. So how seriously are you intending to take the acting thing? I know there's a season 2 being planned of the show, but is there an ambition to do this more frequently?
Well, totally. In fact, what I've started to do is, you know, I think a lot of people had this confusion, like you asked me, that they, you know, do you really want to do more stuff? And more importantly, do you want to do fiction? Because everyone thought I would just continue doing reality or semi-reality like Masaba Masaba. And I said, no, not at all. In fact, the idea now is that, so I also noticed this, that, you know, everyone, once they've seen you in a successful show playing yourself, you have that baggage. You know, it's like when you do a comedy film, you are just seen as this comic character. So I think you have that baggage of being Masaba. And can people see me as someone else? I don't know. So I just sat down with, and I spoke to a few people. I said, how do I do this? How do I change this image, or at least give the impression that there can be another image?
Right.
And that's how I spend my day now. I work for about 4 or 5 hours on my fashion label, and the rest of the time I'm just doing scenes. And I do gritty scenes. I do like hardcore Hindi dialogues. I will do like cool chick flick stuff. I just want to just keep doing stuff, you know, because when the moment comes and when the opportunity arises, I want to be prepared, you know, and I want to be ready. So yeah, so that's what I want to do. And I think it will take a little bit of time, because even the work I get for, say, an ad or an endorsement, it's all about Masaba the hot mess, you know. So yeah, so all of next year is going to be spent trying to break that image and trying to at least build a new one on the side. So yeah, I can't wait. I love doing auditions. It's so much fun.
Wow.
I did my first one the other day, like 5 days back, and I was thrilled. I said, give me more.
It's very nerve-wracking, but it's fun.
It's nerve-wracking, but it's great fun. And I love doing like multiple takes.
And it's a great exercise also, you know, it's constantly, you get into practice constantly. I agree. I've done so
But
many
you know,
in this lockdown.
what's that like? I mean, you know, entering a room and auditioning for either a casting director or the director. I mean, are you looking in their eyes and on their face to know whether this is working for them? I mean, what's it like being the person at the other end of the camera?
I think Alaya would know this. I've never done an audition in person. I've only done a virtual one.
So
correct.
In-person auditions are very scary, because you go in, and for me, when I get scared, I try like making conversation, you know, so I can like diffuse the nerves and the tension. So I'll start asking like stupid things, like I'll be like, oh, how many people have you auditioned today? How's that going? What's the funniest one that you've seen today? You know, like stupid things like that. I don't know why. But it is very nerve-wracking. So I just try and go in prepared, you know. I'll always go to my acting teacher beforehand, and, you know, we'll totally prep the scene inside out. He'll keep throwing new directions at me. So, you know, when I go there, things ideally shouldn't faze me. And now in this lockdown, of course, it's been more, you know, you record self-tapes, which I prefer a lot more. You know, because then you can go through it, you can go over it over and over again, you can see which take you like best, you can send that, you know, you can have a little more control over how you're looking and all of that. So I like self-taping better. But in-person auditions are very scary, but it's good practice.
What are the days after you've sent off that audition tape like? I mean, then is it, you know, the waiting to know whether you've got the gig? I mean, is that stressful? Or are you able to just sort of put it in the back of your head? Like, you know, okay, I did it, and it'll come back if it has to come back.
No, I can't. I'll keep watching my test over and over and over and over and over again. Like I'll watch it like 10 times a day, every single day, until, you know, I'll ask my team every day. I'll be like, have we heard back? Have we heard back? Have we heard back? And they'll be like, we'll tell you when we hear back. Don't worry, we're not going to keep it to ourselves. And but I just watch my scenes over and over and over again. So that's what I do while I'm waiting. And I'm saying, maybe they didn't like this part and that's why it didn't happen. But then I'll say, this part was damn good. Yeah, what are they doing? Why have they not called me back? So I'll just obsess over it.
You know, it's funny, Rajeev, I was telling a casting director this the other day that I forget, right? So because it's not my main job, I forget. And in fact, sometimes people have to remind me that, hey, you know, can you send that WeTransfer link, please? I'm like, oh yeah, sorry. I was just sending a mail for something else. So, you know, I forget. And I was just thinking about every actor who is trying to make it out there, what their day must be like. You are just waiting for that one phone call or that one email or that one. And I said, you know, I at least have the luxury of forgetting, you know, but it's really sad. I think that's the first time I felt the pain of somebody who is, and my mom was telling me, she said, you know, we didn't even have food to eat. And we would wait for that one call and wait and wait and wait. It would never come. So, yeah.
Alaya Masaba had the opportunity to work with her mom on her show. Are you curious about what it might be like if you had to work with your mother? And Masaba, what? I know your mom works a lot less frequently now, but Masaba, what tips would you give her about having a sort of healthy on-set relationship with your mom? Because we know mom and daughter relationships can be fraught, right?
Totally. And I call her Pooja. Sorry, I don't call her auntie. We should shoot me, but I call her Pooja. So let's just call her Pooja. Yeah. So she is she's a firecracker. She is very spunky, and all the time spent with her, she's somebody who's very spunky and very on the ball. So I think, according to me, the one thing I would say is, I think she let Alaya be. Because I don't think she's one of those moms who's just like, yeah, do this. Like, I think she let her be, because you clearly see that in the way Alaya is, that she's been left to decide for herself what is best for her. So I think that, and I think the one tip I would say is that when you are on set, leave the relationship behind, I think that's very important, because I remember I was so scared. I was just so scared that I would be judged as a daughter trying to do something new by this mother who's obviously very good at what she does. Yeah. So I think you have to leave that mother-daughter relationship behind. It used to come back in the vanity when we used to have lunch, but leave it aside on set. Just go there as a professional actor. And I would say don't ask for help. I didn't ask for help, and it really helped me. And I think mom insisted that I don't ever ask for help, because she said, you have to be your own person. The minute I tell you what to do, you'll do exactly what I have done, and then there's no authenticity left. So
with my mother, she is very spontaneous, very like, oh yeah, I'll come, I'll do my thing, whatever. Whereas I am very like, I need to prep. Where are my classes? What am I doing? I'm not trained. I don't know my lines at the back of my hand. And I'm very the opposite. So I think she would never be like, oh, you can do this like this. But I would probably go to her and say, Mama, this, like this. And, and like even when she had tested for Masaba Masaba, I remember she had come to me and she had shown me the test. And I was like, Mama, you could have done this like this and this like this. And I felt like, later when I thought about it, I was like, you're such an, I thought to myself, and I was like, I'm such an idiot, I'm like 23 trying to tell my mother how to like do things and whatever. So I think I would be the annoying one on set. I'd be the one telling her, maybe try this like this and do this like that. And she'd probably just be like, just chill. So it would probably be the very opposite. But me and my mother love each other a lot. We bicker a lot, like, little. I'm sure as all mother daughters do.
Same here.
Yeah, I think it's just a very normal thing now. So we'd have to keep that under check, of course. But otherwise I think it'd be fun.
Nice. I have to ask you both before we go. This year was an unusual year, and both of you had your first projects come out. But like you said, Alaya, it was not a year that you could go out and sort of celebrate it even beyond a point, right? I mean, you can't go out and show the world your work and talk about it and maybe have meetings with other filmmakers and see what are the prospects out there. A lot of it is over, virtual calls like these, and there's only so much you can achieve this way. I mean, if filmmakers even want to, really get to know the person before casting them, there's only so much one can do. I mean, what are you hoping, both of you, what are you hoping the next year will be in terms of, will allow you to kind of, get closer to what you eventually want to achieve?
I think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, please go ahead. I'll go next.
Okay. I think, I'm hoping to be, to have my feet on the ground literally next year. I think that's very important for me. I'm not so bogged down by, the red carpet that I'm missing, or, that moment of being bapped or whatever. That's not something that I'm really missing. But I definitely think sensing the energy of a filmmaker and having them sense yours. I think that's something that I really, really hope we can do next year and, do in person. And also, like she said, auditions in person, I'm sure it's very different from a virtual one. I'm sure a virtual one is easier. So I really want to go out there and do things that make me uncomfortable. So I think uncomfortable stuff only happens in person, when someone's looking in your eyes and, and really looking at you, and you feel the energy of the person in the room. So I really want to do that. But more than that, I think, Rajeev, I don't think Masaba Masaba would have been the show it is today if it weren't, if it hadn't come out in the lockdown. Everyone wanted that breath of fresh air, and they wanted that little light, something to watch. So I think timing is great. So I'll just leave it to the universe. Whatever's in store for me, I'm sure it'll work out.
Nice, nice. Alaya?
For me, all I'm hoping for is just some really great opportunities. You know, even this year, I still continue training. You know, as soon as the lockdown slightly lifted, I went back to acting class and back to dance class and back to everything else. I'm feeling really hungry and really ready in a lot of ways. And, you know, I just feel like I have so much to prove and so much to do. And, you know, I just have a lot of hunger in me at this very moment, you know. So I just want to get the right opportunities so I can just go out there and, you know, prove myself in a lot of ways. I want, you know, I want people to look at me and say, hey, okay, yeah, this girl is killing it. You know, I want that. I want it so badly, and I'm putting in the work, and I'll continue to put in the work always. But I'm just hoping for some really, really great opportunities to come my way in terms of everything, in terms of, you know, appearances, in terms of films, especially, of course, in terms of just anything. I'm just waiting for the wonderful opportunities.
Well, here's wishing both of you a very exciting 2021. I thought both of you were really lovely in both of your projects. I really enjoyed watching both of you on screen in your respective projects. Can't wait to see what you do next and how you sort of expand on that and build on that. Looking forward to lots more, but congratulations on the debut and exciting new year ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rajeev. Thank you. Thanks, Alaya.
Thank you.